Yeah, this is a clusterfuck in itself. Yeah, I mean, I hate Microsoft and everything they do, but this this article right here makes me worry about Microsoft's Xbox division. I mean, I'm really beginning to believe that Xbox, more and more, that Xbox is probably going to be sold to a different company in 2 years, or just completely scrapped. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, but it's selling better than the Wii U, and they got like to 15 million. First of all, the Wii U is at 10 million. The Xbox One is at 15, so it's only up by 5. Third of all, the top two selling consoles right now is not going to be PS4 and Wii and Xbox One. The top two selling handheld consoles right now, and one of them is a handheld, is that you got Sony's PS4. I think that's the toilet going off. With Sony's PS4 and Nintendo's 3DS. Say whatever you want about Nintendo. Let's face it, they still have the number two sold console out there, which just happens to be a handheld. Yeah, their Wii U is a complete failure, and of course, I don't think that NX system is going to be a good thing because that's going to severely hurt Nintendo. Because you don't want to come out with a brand new consoles and show it off only 3 years after you've already have your own main console out there. It's just not a good idea. Of course, the massive success of Splatoon came out of nowhere, and I know what you're saying. Looking at this article, but Nintendo shunned off their third-party developers. Yes, no. The thing is that when Nintendo shunned off their third-party developers, that's because the third-party developers said we're not going to make kids video games anymore, and we're not going to do it on a kid's toy. Which is funny because some of those publishing companies are developing games for the Nintendo 3DS. I'm not fucking joking. And they're also making kids like games on the iOS and Android. Shot in the foot on that one, didn't you guys? But they basically abandoned Nintendo completely on the Wii U. And of course, they're jumping and saying that the NX is going to be great, except for certain companies. You know, like how EA completely abandoned the Dreamcast. Yeah, you can look up Dreamcast's library. There is not one fucking game made by EA on the Dreamcast. And when you look at Xbox, okay, it's lower than the PS4 and it's lower than the Nintendo 3DS. Sorry. But not only is it lower than PS4 and 3DS, it's also lower than the PC. Yeah, the PC. Yeah, the Wii U's lower than the PC, but well, the 3DS is way the fuck up there. And the thing is, Nintendo, well, they snubbed their third-party developers when their third-party developers raised up both their middle fingers in the air and said, "Fuck you, Nintendo." Even though you got a man out there, Black Bond, who praises PS4 but doesn't even own the damn thing. But anyways, let's think with the Xbox One. This is a bad decision, and it's going to have some bad repercussions on Microsoft. And I know why they're doing it, because A, the Tomb Raider mess, because as you know, Tomb Raider is coming out on the Xbox One the same day that Fallout 4 is coming out. I'm not kidding, the exact same day. So, and, you know, him saying that it takes us a lot of money to make these so-called third-party exclusives. And for the rest of you who don't know, Spellbound has kind of hit a nasty little bump. As you know, one of the founders, you can look this up, I forget his name, I'll put a link down in the description of an article, but anyways, He's not said nice words about Microsoft, as using such words as those fucking bastards and fuck those motherfuckers. I'm not kidding. He actually said shit like that. Well, close to it, but he pretty much did use the F word a lot. So Spellbound may end up being cancelled. Maybe. If the Twitter feud keeps happening. Before Gamescom. Wonderful. I mean, we already know Quantum Break is in trouble and being delayed over and over and over again. I think certain features have been canceled. I think if it does come out as a game now, it's going to be a subpar game with just subpar shooting. And some of the features that they were going to say that was going to be in Quantum Break were going to be removed because due to being way too ambiguous or too fucking expensive. So as you know, Microsoft is having serious problems with third-party developers, and also because third-party games are selling better on PS4 than they are on Xbox One. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's because it's got a better graphics card." Here's something else you don't understand, and I don't know if anyone else will make a video, Samuel Tech Geek or any of them, but here's the thing that Sony's PS4 does better than the Wii U and the Xbox One. A, it installs the games more faster. Now the Wii U also has an advantage because it runs off the game, but fuck you, it says the word Nintendo, so it's got to be a horrible machine because it says Nintendo on there. And of course, not one person has ever mentioned that the Wii U does run off of its disc. And it does. So when you get the disc of the Wii U, you don't install jack shit. But it does have slow installing time when you download and install. Even though it was found that the Xbox One has slower installing time. And it does. The Xbox One's mainly due to a default in the internet settings. But the thing is that you have to turn off so it doesn't, download all the extra, because when it's installing, it's also downloading the updates and all the extra packs and stuff, and you have to shut that off. But even after you install it, you're still going to have to install the updates. Even though Sony will allow you to install the disc, and it will install off the disc, and once it's done with that, it will let you play the game even though it's downloading the update, which is nice. Basically what I'm saying is that Sony has a smoother interface on their PS4 than, say, whatever the fuck Microsoft was doing. And in lots of cases, you still have to hunt all over Xbox One just to get a function to work properly under Xbox One. It's just the way it is. Of course, the Wii U, has two interfaces. One of the Mi Plaza, and the other, basically, it's the old Wii interface, just updated a little bit, but it's pretty much all the same shit that you get on the Wii, you get it on the Wii U's interface. But of course, fuck you, it says Nintendo on it, so it's got to be evil because, it says Nintendo, and anything that says Nintendo has got to be automatically evil. Or how about a guy out there who calls himself Black Bond saying that keeps appraising the PS4 even though he doesn't own one. I'm not fucking joking. He even admits he doesn't even own a PS4 because his PC is adequate for all of his gaming needs. So adequate that he's made more videos praising the PlayStation 4 without even actually owning the fucking console. I mean, it's one thing to bash it and not own it. It's another thing to devote your love to a console and not have the damn thing. And yeah, I don't own a fucking Xbox One because I don't like Microsoft. Fucking deal with it. Since I already have a few friends who own it, and half of them wants to dump it or destroy it. And some of them are just outright screaming that it's a bad purchase to just get an Xbox One. But this decision that Paul Schaefer just made with the Xbox One, not a good deal. He's basically trying to solve one couple of problems by snudging the entire third-party developers. I mean, this could. I mean, then you got companies like EA, whose EA Early Access is only on Xbox One and PC, and the PlayStation 4 won't even fucking touch the damn thing. And guess how many? Guess what? It's going nowhere. I mean, first you got the Xbox One, which, you know, not only 15 million have been sold. Why, the 3DS and the PS4 and PCs are selling twice as more. I mean, the only thing that it's beating is the Wii U. And all the other third party developers have basically got up and admitted the PS4 is pretty much the console where they're getting the most money, and the only reason why they make ports more towards Xbox One is when Microsoft pays them a shit ton of money. Even games that have early access, or has earlier DLC than the PS4s, can't sell well on the Xbox One. I mean, look at Dragon Age Inquisition. It still sells better on the PS4 than the Xbox One, and the Xbox One had pretty much most of the Inquisition's fucking DLC. Hell, that game is you could you can play the beta of that game under the Xbox One, but that didn't help the Inquisition, did it? This is a boneheaded decision. This is going to end up hurting EA's early access pretty badly. It'll probably end up being removed from Xbox One. I bet Microsoft's just going to remove it because it's not helping them. And them, I mean both Microsoft and EA. Which is probably why Origin passwords will now be changed to EA passwords. Almost like EA's about. I mean, EA's barely even releasing games under fucking Origin anymore. But I'm just saying, Microsoft taking this Nintendo route, but no, of course, Nintendo took that route because the developers told Nintendo to go fuck off. So Nintendo said, "Alright, go ahead, fuck off. We don't need your money anymore." This case, there's like, well, the third party developers ain't giving us jack and shit, and all we're doing is constantly fighting with them. Fuck them. We're just gonna live off our first parties. If Nintendo can do it, so can we. Yeah, good luck with that, Microsoft. Very fucking good luck with that. And it didn't work all so well because let's face it, Nintendo, their first party games are party games that everybody talks about. Microsoft's first party games, nowhere matches that. Only fucking Halo. Gears of War is just there for the macho Twitch shooters. And let's face it, they came out with like not one, not two, but three Forza games conclusively together. I'm not fucking joking. I mean, the Xbox One already has two Forza games out. And the Xbox One's not even like, barely a year or 2 years old. Even though Sony doesn't have a Forza game yet, but yeah. And the Wii U's only got one Mario Kart game out. So, you got a brand new game with two first party racing games that came out in the exact same year. Yep. Have fun with that, Microsoft. Good luck. See ya.